Today, we're cracking open a really mysterious text from the early 1900s. It's one that basically claims our entire understanding of the stars and even ourselves is built on one giant mistake. So get ready, because we're about to dive into a secret history of the zodiac. So where is all this coming from? Our source is a book called The Light of Egypt, Volume 2. The author, Thomas H. Burgoyne, made the pretty wild claim that this text was dictated to him from the subjective plane of life. And what it sets out to do is solve a huge problem that's puzzled people for centuries, one that really cuts to the very heart of astrology itself. The book kicks things off with this totally radical question. What if that fiery energy of Aries has nothing to do with the constellation of Aries? I mean, astronomers have known for a long time that those constellations have shifted in the sky over thousands of years. So if the power of your sign isn't coming from those distant stars, where on Earth does it come from? And that question leads us to the book's first major bombshell. The real source of the zodiac's power isn't way out there in some distant constellation. Nope, it's right here in our own solar system. This just flips the whole common view on its head. See, instead of your sign being tied to some faraway star pattern, the Light of Egypt says the zodiac is actually a property of Earth's journey. The 12 signs are just 12 unique energetic zones that our planet passes through every single year as it goes around the sun. They're permanent, unchanging stages in our solar journey. To make this super clear, the book offers this brilliant analogy, the cosmic clock. Think about a regular day here on Earth. You know how sunrise has a completely different vibe than high noon, right? And noon is totally different from midnight. It's not because the sun itself changed, it's because our relationship, our angle to the sun changed. Well, the book says the zodiac works the exact same way, but for the whole year. So Aries isn't fiery because of some stars millions of miles away. It's fiery because it marks the spring equinox. It is literally the sunrise of the cosmic year. It's that moment of awakening, that first big push of life, just like the dawn of a new day. And every sign that follows is just the next hour on that cosmic clock. Okay, so if the signs are just zones in Earth's orbit, then you're probably wondering, what about the constellations themselves? You know, the bull, the lion, the twins, the actual pictures in the sky. Well, according to this book, their purpose is even deeper. They're not sources of power, they're a map of the soul's epic journey. And this, for me, is where the book gets really mind-blowing. The idea is that those star figures, Andromeda, Scorpio, all of them, they aren't there to predict if you're going to have a good Tuesday. They are an eternal storybook written in the sky, telling the grand saga of the soul, where it came from, how it fell into the material world, and its long, long journey back to the divine. So this journey starts with Aries, where the soul is just a pure spark of consciousness. Then, in Cancer, it hits its peak, a state of blissful angelic rest. But then comes Libra, the scales, the tipping point where the soul starts to get pulled down into the material world. And finally, in Capricorn, it hits rock bottom, literally, imprisoned in the mineral state, waiting for that long climb back up to the light. Okay, let's just recap for a second. We've got two big ideas on the table. The sun's zodiac, which affects our life here on Earth, and then the constellations, which tell this cosmic story of the soul. But how do they connect? How does that massive celestial story have anything to do with us? Well, the book says there's a single, unifying principle that ties it all together. So yeah, how do we get from this epic journey of the soul among the stars all the way down to our own lives, our myths, our religions? What's the bridge? Well, according to the book, the answer is this ancient, powerful idea. It's like a master key to reality. As above, so below is the engine that drives this entire worldview. It comes from an ancient spiritual tradition called Hermetic philosophy, and it suggests a perfect, almost holographic reflection between the huge scale of the cosmos and the small scale of our human lives. This is what's known as the law of correspondences. And what it means is that the sun's yearly journey through those 12 zodiac zones is a perfect mirror of the soul's much larger journey through the constellations. And both of these huge cosmic journeys are then reflected in our myths, our sacred stories, and even in the cycles of our own individual lives. So once you have this master key, this law of correspondences, the book basically claims you can unlock the hidden meaning behind almost everything. The universe stops being this collection of random, chaotic events and starts looking more like a giant web of interconnected symbols.
And the scope of this is just immense. The book applies this key to decode the Bible, calling it astrotheology. It decodes Greek myths as astromythology. It even looks at the labors of the year, the journey of our own soul, and the history of entire nations, all seen as earthly reflections of these grand celestial patterns.
Here's a really powerful example the book gives. The story of a divine savior born of a virgin on December 25th, who was crucified and then resurrected around the spring equinox. The book argues this isn't literal history, but a profound allegory for the sun's journey, its birth at the winter solstice, its death on the cross of the equinoxes, and its resurrection in spring, saving the world from the darkness of winter. Our most sacred stories, it says, are just mirrors of the sky. Ultimately, The Light of Egypt leaves us with this one truly provocative thought. It suggests the cosmos isn't silent and empty at all, but is instead this vast symbolic language. The stars, the seasons, our very souls, they're the words. And that just leaves us with one final, huge question to think about. If the universe really is a language, what is it trying to tell us?